Now, here we go. Nowadays, music is released every Friday, but things weren't always this way. The industry used to drop new music every Tuesday. And June 20th in the year 2000 is a Tuesday that I'll never forget. That was when R&B group Next released their sophomore album, Welcome to Nextasy. If you haven't already heard this album, it's worth listening to for several reasons, like maybe you're a fan of hip-hop and R&B, or maybe you're a fan of baby-making anthems. Well, Welcome to Nextasy has you covered. Track 13, for example, is called Splash, and it's about... Track 13, for example, is called Splash, and it's about exactly what you think it's about. Let me just say this. This album was released in the year 2000. It's currently 2021. So, if you're around 20 or 21 years old and one or both of your parents are black, they probably created you while listening to a grown man saying, quote, "As I wade in your waters of passionate cream, I realize it's not a dream," end quote. But
Amen.
Amen. But even if you don't enjoy the genre, and even if you're not trying to start a family, there's still another reason to listen to this album: to laugh hysterically, especially at track number 4. This track is called Cybersex. You probably already know what cybersex is, but I'm going to read you the Wikipedia definition anyway, because I want to make sure you understand just how much Next clearly did not understand.
Well, yeah, because I remember cybersex back then because people talked about it, and God knows I don't know what they came up with.
Well, wait till you hear what Next thinks about cybersex. But first, Wiki says, quote, "Cybersex, also called computer sex, internet sex, net sex, and colloquially cyber or cybering, is a virtual sex encounter in which two or more people connected remotely via computer network send each other sexually explicit messages describing a sexual experience," end quote. So basically, it's like sending nudes back and forth along with detailed descriptions of what you'd like to do if that nude person happened to be in the same room as you. Next didn't understand this. They thought that cybersex meant you were literally having sex with computers. And when I say sex with computers, I mean it both ways. Sex with computers as in inserting one's penis into a computer, and sex with computers as in inserting parts of a computer into one's penis. Now, I can't verify that this song is actually about sounding, but I can't verify that it's not about sounding either. And if you don't know what sounding is, well, so anyway, this song is really funny, and I wish I could play it for you, but I can't. But I can read you the hook. And it goes, "I want your PC, sit on my laptop, push all my buttons, baby, please don't stop. Download all over me, let me into your internet, dial me up, it's time for cybersex." None of that makes any sense. I mean, I understand what they're trying to say, but those words don't mean what they think they mean. Sit on my laptop? No, it'll break. Download all over me? Down what? Where? But back in 2000, maybe the song made sense. No, it still didn't. But maybe people didn't know it didn't make sense because they really didn't know a whole lot about computers. It all sounded really good, and perhaps that was enough. Which finally
Until you catch a virus.
Until you catch a virus. But that finally brings us to today's film, Johnny Mnemonic. Because maybe that's what those filmmakers thought too. That they could create a gritty science fiction film about computers, and if everything looked and sounded cool enough, it wouldn't matter if none of it actually made any sense. Plus, the film was released in 1995 when people knew even less about computers. So, not a bad idea, really. But I'm analyzing this 1990 film with 2021 eyes, which is unfair, but very not unfun. Bad grammar aside, what I'm saying is, an honest interpretation would judge this film in the context of the time in which it was created, the mid-90s. When computers were still unfamiliar territory, the internet wasn't really a thing, and Keanu Reeves was very much a thing. But this is not an honest interpretation. This is a misinterpretation. So have yourself a seat, get comfortable, and listen up. Today, we're going to misinterpret Johnny Mnemonic.
Misinterpreting all the movies that you've seen. You might not have seen all the movies we're misinterpreting. That's alright, that's okay. You're really smart, and that's fair play. Misinterpreting all the movies that you've seen. You might not have seen all the movies we're misinterpreting. That's alright, that's okay. You're really smart, and that's fair play. Misinterpreting.
Okay, hello. It is still Black History Month. So,
Yes, it is.
with that being said, co-host, it's weird because I have a co-host now, so I don't have to introduce you every episode.
No, you don't.
But that was
Don't introduce me like that, motherfucker.
that was an accident. My
That's what they all say, and that's how you get a virus in a next song.
my finger slipped. I swear, I did not mean to do that. What I meant to do,
Your finger slipped. You want to go with that one too?
yeah, what I meant to do was this. This is what I meant to do. I'm sorry.
Are you though?
I mean, I have regret if that counts. I have a little bit of regret. I don't know if I'm sorry. But with that being said, hello everybody. Welcome back to Misinterpreting Movies podcast.
I feel like I'm gonna have to take 50 showers tonight.
I should have titled this episode Splash, honestly.
Please no. God no.
Okay. So it is still Black History Month, and I don't know about you, but I'm still celebrating. In fact, I'm going to be celebrating all year long because this is the shortest month of the year, and that's not okay.
No. Okay.
Today, we are going to discuss Johnny Mnemonic. I feel like you have something to say about this movie, so I'm going to let you...
I do. I'm just trying to erase the memory of splooshing. Don't you dare! Don't touch that button! Don't you touch that button!
I won't. I promise.
I want to say, God damn it!
Sorry. Last one. Last one. That was it. Last
Sure
one.
you're empty.
Last
You
one
sure
for
you're
now.
drained?
Last one for now. While you talk, I'm gonna go take a nap.
Refractory period. I wanted to say I also celebrating Black History Month, and actually something I kind of wanted to do was give out like a couple of quick shout outs throughout our episodes this month. So one thing is, if you can see the shirt I'm wearing, it's a Black Panther Wakanda shirt. And actually, it was made by a guy I wound up becoming friends with through like comics and Comic-Con community. His name is Otis Black Lion Arterberry. Dude is the nicest guy. He's an artist. He does tattoos. He's really cool. Not only did he make this shirt that I absolutely love, but I actually have this figure.
Oh, that's really cool.
That he sculpted of M'Baku.
That's really cool.
And this is literally one of my prized possessions. But he does a lot of like tribal work and stuff like that, as well with like other ideas. So he's really big fan of Black Panther, which led him to make this shirt, to make this statue. There were other statues that, fortunately, at the time I was too broke to afford, and also did not want to stuff in a bag so I could drive it back from New York to Delaware.
Fair.
And risk having something happen to it. But I just want to give him a shout out. And there's some other creators that I'm gonna shout out in other episodes this month. You know,
Yeah.
Black History. Let's spread some love out there.
I will get some information from you, and we can put it, when I put this together, I will put it in the video, the YouTube video, and I'll also put it in the description for the episode. So if people stream this episode via Apple Music, which is where most of you guys are streaming this, so thank you, or any other podcast streaming service, they can click on it there, or in YouTube I'll have the actual links in the video, or I'll have it on screen or something. I'm still getting used to YouTube, but when you shout out these,
you're getting used to YouTube.
I feel so old. I'm getting used to the YouTubes, but I will put those when you give these shout outs, I will put these links to these people, and I'm not affiliated with these people beyond being black, so so we're all affiliated with one another, and so it's good enough. So I had a couple things that I wanted to mention, and unlike you, I had to write them down because my memory is terrible. Thing number one, I mentioned last week that this week's episode will be about toxic positivity. I lied.
That was a lie.
Yeah, that was a lie. But I'm still gonna do it, just not this week. So that was a lie. I want to shout out to Chris, who suggested via our YouTube channel that we misinterpret video games for a couple episodes. That was a good idea, and I think I would definitely like to do that.
Chris is gonna love that. There's something I said last week. I guess I made a comment about a friend, and I guess I was talking about him. And he's just like, "Dude, I'm not that bad." And I'm just like, bro, I literally don't remember a fucking word.
I'm the same way. People come to me all the time about things that I mentioned, and I'm like, wait, what? Who said that? Was that me?
Exactly.
I don't remember anything I say, because I go back and listen to these enough to edit them and make clips and whatnot, but I don't really go back and listen, and I just say what's on my mind, and I'm done with it. So, I guess that would be called keeping it real. I don't know.
Well, the funny thing is, we're having this. I'm sorry. I guess I should ask, was there any other notes that you wanted to go through, any other housekeeping stuff?
Just a couple. One is I'm tweaking the show format constantly. I'm constantly changing things here and there. Like, the show is still developing into what it's going to be, so I'm changing the format a lot, and I appreciate the feedback that people give me either online or in person. So let me know if something works or doesn't work, or you hate it or love it less and hate it more, whatever. Just let me know. And I have patrons now, so I can all the music that I play in the show, I have to pay for.
Yes.
So I mean, it's not super expensive, but I do have to pay for it. But now that I have patrons who have found me at
www.patreon.com/mmoviepod,
I can actually buy different music for each episode, so I can try to have different songs to fit whatever mood we're gonna have for each episode.
As long as that mood doesn't involve splooshing.
Sorry, what? I couldn't hear you.
Continue.
You know what? That will be like your swear jar. Every time you curse, I'm gonna play that sound.
It's gonna turn into a Pavlov movie. Yeah. Anytime I'm about to swear, I'm just gonna hear that sound.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can't do it.
Oh man. So yeah, I will try to remember. I probably won't. But that's all I have right now for little housekeeping things, little notes that I took. That's pretty much it. Today's show is going to be a little bit different in format, but I'll tell you more about that once we get to the actual show part of it.
Well, actually, that's what I was thinking, because you said that I have a great memory, which is also a lie. My memory is very selective. It decides when it's going to remember something, and it decides that's important, as opposed to when I'm just like, hey, I need to remember this really important thing, and it's like, haha, can't help you, but remember in the 5th grade when you liked this girl and you left her a note? Well, actually, I'm not going to finish that story. That was embarrassing. That was super embarrassing.
I've never had any embarrassing moments with girls. Nope.
But anyway, it's funny that we're talking about the subject of memory, because memory has a lot to do with the movie that we're going to be discussing today.
That's true. And speaking of this movie that we're discussing today, I messaged Joe throughout the week to give him an idea of how the direction I wanted to take with this movie. And he brought up some ideas that were completely different from my ideas. Completely different, which is fine, because they're misinterpretations. There's a million of them. But it got me to thinking that it would be cool for me to bring my interpretation, and then Joel, you can bring yours. And then we started discussing it, and we said, well, why don't we just throw everything at the wall and see what sticks? So let's just give tons of interpretations about tons of things that are happening in this movie, and just go from there.
It's also because, look, I enjoyed the movie. I've always liked cyberpunk aesthetic things. I've always enjoyed things like that. So I just needed to make sure I didn't mute my mic.
No, you're good.
I've always enjoyed things like that. So I enjoyed the movie basically for what it was. And so without getting too much into it, it's based on a short story by William Gibson, one of the forefathers of the cyberpunk genre. Actually, I have a in my little Libby app. It's Libby's a library app, so you can actually like rent books or audiobooks and check them out the same way you would if you're at a library. It just does digital and audiobooks. So actually, I had tried to read Neuromancer because that had been one of the things I've always wanted to read. I've always heard about it since I was a kid, and there's always references to Neuromancer in so many different things, from The Matrix, just anything remotely cyberpunk. There are things that are pulled from there or inspired from there, and his other books. He's written a ton of stories in the cyberpunk landscape. So it was actually funny that you were saying that this was the movie we were going to discuss, since I have that book as one of my books to read right now. You mentioned when we were speaking, like, man, the technology is so wrong.
Yep.
And it is, but I don't think it's wrong quite in the way people think, because since this is an adaptation.
Adaptation.
I know what the word adaptation was. My brain just didn't
wait. There. Okay. Go ahead.
Fuck you.
Okay, carry on.
But since it's an adaptation from a book, and he's repeatedly talked about some of the things that they thought technology was going to be, because you're not pulling necessarily from like the 90s, you're pulling from really like end of 70s, 80s.
Well, that was something I always found interesting with science fiction films. I was always, and again, I'm not very well versed in science fiction films. To give you an idea of my knowledge of Johnny Mnemonic, the only thing I knew about Johnny Mnemonic was that at one point there was a scene where some computer-generated hands give the finger guns. That's all I knew.
That part. I enjoyed that part.
That is the only thing I knew about Johnny Mnemonic. I didn't know it was based on a short story until I started doing the research for the podcast. But even then, how much can I learn in a few days? But one of the things I've always found interesting about science fiction films is when they're set in, like, if a film is made in 1980 and is set in 1999. I've always found it so interesting because I just think, that's just a few years from now. We're going to see what that's actually like. Movies now made in 2020 that are, if it's set in 2030. Well, I mean, I don't know if we're going to make the 2030 at this rate, but I've always found it interesting when movies actually make it to that, like when we actually make it to the point where the movie is, to just kind of see how close they were. And like I said in the introduction, I'm not being fair to this movie because I'm judging it a mid-90s movie, again, which is using older technology because it wasn't started in 1995, you know what I mean? So I'm judging this with 2021 vision, so I can see how things turned out, and I'm basically picking on them for being wrong.
Well, I don't think you're wrong for doing that. I think my only thing is I just wanted to point out for anyone who's not familiar is that that's kind of the whole cyberpunk aesthetic, where it's supposed to be the future, but it's the future so heavily colorized.
Oh, you muted your mic.
Mic placement.
I didn't want anybody.
Worry, guys, I am upgrading like studio stuff as we speak. So
I didn't want anyone to think I was censoring you. I didn't want anyone to think I was censoring you. It's February. We're not keeping the
Sir.
black man down in February.
Sir, I still have my Twitter account. I think we're okay.
You know who doesn't? You know who doesn't? You know who doesn't have
Yes, I
Twitter?
do.
Spotify? You know who can't even get on Pornhub?
Oh God, I forgot he was banned from Pornhub.
The president of the former president of the United
Former
States of
president.
America. Current Florida man.
Current Florida man. Yes.
So yeah, I didn't know anything about Johnny Mnemonic. I knew that you would have an appreciation, more of a knowledge about it than I would. I didn't know your knowledge would go quite this deep, but I'm glad that it does because I think it's really cool to have different perspectives on this because I respect all films. I watched.
I don't see fuck, I can't think of a word for the joke.
All films matter.
Yeah, there we go. Good enough. That works.
So I watched Birdemic and I did an episode on Birdemic. But that movie is on my Patreon at
www.patreon.com/mmoviepod.
This
Where
would be a great place to have it pop up on the screen and give me
That's true. That's true. So I posted my Birdemic episode there, and Birdemic is widely regarded as one of the worst movies ever made. But I love it because it has a certain charm to it. Like I thought it was great because when I watched it, I saw someone with very little budget, very little resources, making it happen, and that to me has a certain charm to it. So I love all movies, and I try. My goal with this podcast is to poke fun at movies, but not in a way that's mean-spirited.
Oh, yeah.
So I am going to make fun of some things in this movie, for sure. I'm looking at my script now. There's not a lot in here, but, I try to keep it respectful because I know how much work goes into trying to make a movie. And I think I love art, and I appreciate art. But jokes are jokes. Yeah, make some jokes.
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to give a little background knowledge for anyone who hasn't seen the movie, hasn't come into it. But yeah, I mean, just because look, I'm a huge Power Ranger fan. But if you sit me down and have me watch an episode, especially of the original, I will talk so much shit. And it's not actually, that's calling out for Chris. Chris knows the fact we've sat and watched Power Ranger episodes and just shit talk the entire time. Well, because we love it, but we get the shit talk it because we love it.
Yeah, exactly. And and the more I talk, the more I'm looking into the future here, and I have big plans. I think it would be really cool to do either Power Ranger episodes or the first Power Ranger movie for some bonus episodes.
Okay, if we do that, we have to call Chris. Okay, so here's a little behind the scenes thing.
Okay, hang on. Before you start, now is the best time to get started with your tangent music because this is a tangent. So I'm announcing that I've officially the song that I played for the intro is Joe's official tangent music. So Joe, take it away.
Oh God. Okay, so actually, before Tyrice had asked me to officially join as a co-host, I was actually working on starting my own podcast. Tyrice was telling me that I should go for it, and I was like, you know what? I've had other friends tell me I should go for it and do it. And
I still think you should, by the way. I still think you should.
So, well, here's the thing. You kind of just fucked me on that. Because the first episode was going to be me and my friend Chris, and we were going to talk about Power Rangers.
Oh, well, what we can do is I can produce that for you. Like, I can record it and help you out with it. I don't have to be on it. It can be 100% your show.
No. I would like possibly if the three of us could somehow do it, because you have two people who are big fans of Power Rangers and are perfectly ready to talk shit about Power Rangers.
Yeah, for sure.
And we have someone who is aware of Power Rangers. I don't know how much you've ever watched any of it, if you've ever seen any of it.
Yeah, I've watched. I was a fan, but I never really got too into it.
Okay.
Just because I was never in front of a television a whole lot during that period.
Yeah.
So I was aware of it, but
it would be cool to get another perspective, especially since we're talking shit about it, and then we also know background stuff about it.
Yeah.
I am a huge Power Ranger fan. Like, I can literally go grab morphers that I have. I spent $100 on a morpher set. It's the original morpher and the power blaster.
Oh my god.
That I didn't get when I was a kid, and I want it so bad. I paid $100 for a used one at Comic-Con. Just so I could have it, because I didn't have it when I was a kid. Also, that Comic-Con, I did meet Austin St. John, who played Jason, the original Red Ranger and Power Rangers. I've actually also met Walter Jones, who played Zack the Black Ranger, and that was fucking awesome as well. But yes, okay, I'm a big nerd. This isn't new to anybody.
And that was Joe with Power Ranger Tangent. That was the first of several that we're going to get on misinterpreting movies, I'm sure. And that's also a great idea that I need to start writing my ideas down, because I forget a lot. I've promised a lot of things on past episodes that I haven't delivered upon because I forget. So,
this is true. But
what do you want from me?
yeah, but without further ado, let's go ahead and get on with the subject, and make sure that you have enough memory available to download what we're going to discuss. Oh yeah, I went there.
Watch out for synaptic seepage. Hey. I had
feel like I
synaptic
should have
seepage
that.
once at a dance when I was, never mind. Never mind. She was a girl. She was cute, and I had a crush. Anyway.
Sploosh.
So anyway, let's make use of some of this sweet, sweet Patreon money, which I received when people went to
www.patreon.com/mmoviepod.
and let's play some music that fits the mood of Johnny Mnemonic. And before we get into it, I want to let everyone know that this description is going to be brief because I want to focus on discussion. And if you're still interested in hearing more of the script, let me know. I will post it on Patreon, and I will post it as both text and both as audio and maybe even video, but I'll do the extra on Patreon. But for these episodes, the free episodes, we're just going to do reading from a script, give you a feel for what the movie is about, and then we're going to misinterpret it. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, let me clear my throat.
You did that wrong.
Did I? Okay, my bad. I'll do better. Let me clear my throat.
And then I must. You know what? I'm good.
Wait, no, let's try it again. I'm gonna get ready here, and while I'm getting ready, let me clear my throat.
Oh yeah.
Okay, all right, here we go. John, I'm gonna try to do like my my super suspenseful, dramatic, cyberpunk voice. Ready for this?
You need to do just a little bit of David Hasselhoff. Just a touch.
I can't do a touch of David Hasselhoff, but I'll do my best. Here we go. The film opens with a text crawl setting this. How am I doing so far?
You're actually doing pretty good.
Okay. The film opens with a text crawl setting the stage for the world we're about to enter. The first line of text tells us it's the second decade of the 21st century, which is a lie because the film takes place in the year 2021, which would be the third decade of the 21st century. But anyway, I'm going to read that text to you now. Don't worry if it doesn't make sense to you. It didn't make sense to me either. Quote, second decade of the 21st century. Corporations rule. The world is threatened by a new plague, NAS, nerve attenuation syndrome, fatal, epidemic. Its cause and cure unknown. The corporations are opposed by the low-techs, a resistance movement risen from the streets. Hackers, data pirates, guerrilla fighters in the InfoWars. InfoWars?
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Okay, anyway, back to the show. The corporations defend themselves. They hire the Yakuza, the most powerful of all crime syndicates. Oh, surprise, surprise, they have minorities as the bad guys. Anyway, back to it, I'm sorry. They sheath their data in black ice. Lethal viruses waiting to burn the brains of intruders. but the low-techs wait in their strongholds, in the city cores, like rats in the walls of the world. The most valuable information must sometimes be entrusted to mnemonic couriers, elite agents who smuggle data in wet-wired brain implants. End quote. The title, Johnny Mnemonic, flashes on screen for a few moments, then explodes into a billion tiny fragments. Another title appears, Internet 2021. And this is followed by a computer-generated roller coaster ride through what I imagine people in 1995 thought the internet looked like. One minor thing that doesn't really matter, but worth mentioning, is that for a split second, text appears on screen telling us the exact date and time. Thursday, January 17th, 2021. Since the movie's future already happened in real life, I thought it'd be fun to see what actually happened on that day. All right, let me bring the music down. Well, first of all, it was a Sunday, not a Thursday. And black two-term President Barack Obama tweeted happy birthday to his beautiful, lovely black queen, his wife Michelle. Meanwhile, Donald Trump was planning his escape to Florida while his supporters begged for mercy after their failed attempt to overthrow the government, and the Tiger King still held hope for a presidential pardon that would never come. But, much like this movie at multiple points, I digress. Johnny, played by Keanu Reeves, wakes up in a hotel bed just as a beautiful woman in a black dress is making her way out of the bathroom. She grabs a dirty thong that had been on a dinner plate next to a half-eaten club sandwich, puts it on, and leaves the room. Johnny turns on a television and lands on a commercial with a woman discussing NAS, nerve attenuation syndrome. Johnny, before the woman left the room, mentioned to her that he had no idea where his actual home was. After seeing the NAS commercial, he makes a phone call to someone named Ralphie. Apparently, Ralphie was supposed to arrange for neurosurgeons to remove an implant from Johnny's brain, thereby restoring all of his lost memories from his childhood, memories of home. The removal was supposed to cost $800,000, but Ralphie explains the neurosurgeons have raised the price to $1.5 million. Johnny doesn't have that kind of money yet. But if Johnny, who we learn works for Ralphie, would just perform one last job, then he would be able to earn enough money to afford the implant removal. What's the job? Well, Johnny is a courier, or a mnemonic. Johnny Mnemonic. His job, as explained in the intro, is to upload important, sensitive data onto a hard drive into his brain. He uploads the data in one location, then travels to the intended recipient, who pulls the data out of his brain. Johnny gets paid, and in order to protect himself, he's never made aware of exactly what's in the data he's transporting. Ralphie needs Johnny to Ralphie needs Johnny to travel to Beijing, China, upload some data, and transport it to Newark, New Jersey. Johnny arrives in Beijing to meet with his clients. They inform him that they need him to carry 320 gigabytes worth of data. They ask Johnny how much storage capacity he has in his brain. Johnny tells them he has more than enough, which is a lie. His storage capacity is 160 gigabytes, exactly half what they want him to store. The clients worry that he might be lying, so before they upload, they remind Johnny that if the upload exceeds his memory capacity, it could kill him in a matter of days. And even if it doesn't, the files could become so corrupted that the person downloading them wouldn't be able to read them anyway. Johnny doesn't care. Quote, "Show me your nearest toilet," he says. "I gotta go make a data dump." Okay, that's a lie. He doesn't. He doesn't actually say that. But he does stumble to the bathroom after the upload scrambles his brain, gives him a nosebleed, and leaves him feeling ill. It's all good though, because he does some Tai Chi poses in the mirror and suddenly feels like $1 million. Just like that.
So weird.
I know. While he's in the bathroom, some bad guys with guns burst through the front door and air the place out. White people, that means they use their guns to shoot the inhabitants. And that's where we'll stop for now. And you know what? That's where we'll stop for the whole episode. Well, at least with the descriptions anyway.
Wait, you left out the best part though.
Which part was that? I left out so many parts.
The laser grot, or however you pronounce that, but yeah,
the laser
wire.
The laser thumb that he uses.
Thumb.
Yeah, he pulls it from his thumb.
Yeah, but it's not his thumb that he's pulled. I didn't think it was his thumb. Maybe I need to watch it again.
It's some sort of thing
he was holding his hand. It's like a garrote, like one of the things they use to strangle people.
Yeah. So what he did? So it's actually a piece that he wears on his thumb, and then he pulls it like this.
Oh yeah. Well, see, you made me think like he was actually doing like the thing like got your thumb.
Oh no. He just wore it on his thumb.
Okay, because I was going to say for a second, I was like, wait, what?
No, you're right. I didn't mention that. I was going to mention that on the next part where I talk about what happens when they burst into the room. Because not only is there the laser thumb thingy, but I don't know if you remember, but they burst into the hotel room and start shooting.
Oh yeah, I watched it last night.
Where did these guys learn how to shoot? Are they stormtroopers?
Apparently.
They don't hit anything.
I have to imagine that guy with the laser thing on his thumb gave the order to not hit anything just so he could go through and look badass.
Yeah.
I just had to mention that because that was literally my favorite thing. I was just like, it looks like a bad Star Wars effect the way it shows up on screen. But goddamn, if I wasn't like, yes!
Yeah, there's so many things about this movie that are so bad they're good. And I didn't...
Yeah.
I feel like 2 weeks in a row I've done movies, or not 2 weeks in a row, but before you came on as the regular co-host, I did Birdemic, and then you and I didn't do a movie, and now we're doing Johnny Mnemonic, and this is 2 movies in a row that are, quote, so bad they're good. And I didn't mean to do another so bad it's good movie because I didn't know anything about Johnny Mnemonic. I just knew that I had this plan for a topic, and I thought that this would fit. Because it was something with our minds and our worth and value, which I'll explain shortly. And I turned it on, and from the very first scene, I was like, oh, this is one of those so bad it's good movies.
How did he not know that shit was going to go wrong the way she exited the room? I thought he was gonna get, like, it's been a while since I saw this when I was younger, but I was just like, oh, does he wind up getting like attacked right now? Because she got up and left in a hurry, like he was about to get like, well, assassinated.
I think that, so it was really weird. He asked her, where are you going? She goes, I'm going to get ice. And he rolls over and looks, and he goes, but we have ice. And he turns around and she's gone.
But there's not even really that much ice in there.
It's just water.
There's like like a little bit of ice around.
Right.
I'm just like, bro, like.
First of all, you don't have ice. Second, if she needs to leave, why can't she just say I'm leaving? Why lie about ice? And why is she leaving? Why does she? It was a very, very confusing movie. But I really need to do a deeper dive than the one we're doing today. And guess where I'm going to post that deep dive? Do you know where I'm going to post it?
Where?
www.patreon.com/mmoviepod.
But
I need magician's gloves so I can be like.
Right. So, I mean, once we get that Patreon money up, we can buy some props.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
give us your money so we can buy cheap props.
Yeah, give us your money
to make this a real clown show.
Give us your money so we can waste it, please. You're not doing anything with it,
and we won't do anything with it either.
Nope. Might as well be entertained while nothing is being done. So, I want to talk about my general idea for what I wanted to do this week and how I want to tie it to Johnny Mnemonic. And then I want to talk about that. And then I also want us both to just, I want to hear your analysis, your interpretations, your misinterpretations, and don't worry about spoiler alerts. We're going to spoil some parts. If you want to give the ending away, that's fine.
If we spoiled it, I still don't think most people would understand without at least trying to watch it.
Yeah, you have to see it. You have to see it for Keanu Reeves' acting, for Ice-T, Dolph Lundgren.
Ice-T. Dolph Lundgren was insane.
He was, yeah.
I'm not used to him being this unhinged.
Yeah, like it was incredible.
He was borderline Christopher Lambert in this movie. The only person I think could have outdone him would be Christopher Lambert or Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. Oh, Nicolas Cage would have killed this role. But anyway, so
I don't know. Christopher Lambert would have been perfect. He has that just weird. Oh my God! I'm thinking about the second Ghost Rider movie when it's Nick Cage versus Christopher Lambert, and I'm just like, the chaos.
Full disclosure, I never saw that movie. Should I see it?
It's not good. But you have Nick Caging while Christopher Lambert's, and
sold.
They do it at each other.
I'm sold.
Yeah,
I'm sold. I'm already sold. So one thing I wanted to talk about was I wanted to do an episode on trying to fit in, or the act of trying to fit in. And I based it on conversations you and I had last week, and also things that, you know, I can speak for myself, but I feel like I can speak for you too, as things that growing up in a small suburban town in the middle of nowhere.
Bro? Suburban?
I mean,
that was rural.
Yeah, I did grow up across the street from a cornfield. But yeah, so growing up in a tiny town in the middle of nowhere, you kind of had limited space for what it meant to fit in. And
there was a drug house down the street from my house, but that was a later thing that came. Like, I think I was in high school by that time.
You know what's funny is that, like, a drug house used to be like, wow, there's a drug house down the street. And then the older you got, you realize that like most houses were drug houses. It's just like, oh, that person probably makes meth. That person sells weed. It's just, they're just everywhere. But I wanted to talk about that. And I wanted to talk about how the thing that made me pick Johnny Mnemonic is how in this movie he has this data in his brain that he doesn't want. He's a courier. He transports data from one place to another, and he doesn't want it there. But this data has value to other people. But to him, it doesn't really have any value. He doesn't even want to know what it is. He just wants it. Yeah. He wants to deliver it, and he wants it out. And it made me think of the way that I tied this to trying to fit in is it made me think of how the things that I've learned over the years is that the things that people make fun of you for and judge you for at a young age are the same things that people praise you for as you get older. Right?
Okay, yeah.
Like, if people judge you for, you know, I want you to tell your story, but if people judge you for liking comic books, for example, you know, as you start to get more into comics and learn more, as you grow older into an adult, people praise your comic book knowledge. For me, I always like to read a lot. I like to write. I like to spend a lot of time by myself just doing creative things. And I never really fit in with anyone doing that. But as I get older and grow up and I have all these I don't want to say skills, but just, you know, not going to be modest. They are skills. They're skills that I developed because I didn't have any social life. So it doesn't make me some sort of prodigy. It just means that I got really good at writing, I think, because I didn't have anything else to do. You know, I got really good at all these creative things because I had a lot of time to dedicate because I wasn't out being social with other people. So the things that made me an outcast are the things that people look at me now and go, wow, I wish I could do that. That's so impressive.
Yeah.
And so, but as a kid, as a teen and even younger, I had this data. It's like I had this data in my head that had value to everyone else, but it didn't have any value to me. And when I say it had value to everyone else, what I mean is the reason that they were so judgmental and the reason that they were, you know, I wasn't accepted is because other people saw that value then and it made them feel insecure. It triggered some sort of insecurity in them. So their response was to, you know, figure out a way to push me away from these things that made them feel threatened. Yeah. So I imagine that for you, for anything that you're passionate in, people see your happiness, and even if they don't consciously realize this, they're like, wow, that guy is really enjoying whatever he's doing. I need to stop him from doing it because I'm miserable and I don't like to see him happy when I'm not.
that literally felt like just a running theme through a lot of my childhood.
Yeah, so share some of that, and then I'll share some of that as well, because I have tons to share.
I mean, just you're young, especially when you're younger.
Mm-hmm.
You're excited about things, and you don't quite know how to manage that excitement, so it just comes bursting out of you, which you shouldn't. Within reason, but that's not something you should do. You shouldn't manage your excitement. That's something you learn how to do that kind of gets beaten into you.
Yeah.
Because if you let them see you too happy, then you put a target on your back and everything.
Yeah, that happens even now. Even, the excitement thing happens even now. And it's like, for this podcast, when I get really excited about the podcast, when I get really excited about when I was really excited about starting it, for the most part, people were supportive. I'm not one of those rappers who is like, nobody was supporting me, nobody wanted to see me make it. No, people, my friends and things were supportive, because I surrounded myself with people who like me, so they're supportive of it. But there were still some people who saw my excitement and then said things like, well, everyone's got a podcast these days. What are you so excited about? What do you expect to get rich? What are you going to quit your job? And that happens a lot when I share my creative endeavors with people. Like back when I was into filmmaking a lot, I would tell people, I want to make a movie, and they're like, what do you expect to go to Hollywood? What do you like? That's dumb. Why are you doing that? And my goal was always to just be happy. Why can't you let me be happy? It's a hobby, So whenever I expressed any excitement, instead of supporting me and saying, wow, it seems like you're really enjoying yourself, it was, stop doing that. Stop being happy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I can relate to that a lot. But I interrupted you, so now I went off on a tangent, so continue.
I mean, really, I guess it's hard to pick like one moment. So what I will relate it to is one thing that has actually kind of really fucked with me during the pandemic. Not being able to go to comic conventions.
Yeah.
So my girlfriend is the most wonderful, amazing person in the world. When we started dating, like within a year. So me and my girlfriend actually don't live in the same country. She lives in Canada.
Oh.
Okay, I didn't mute myself again. Sorry.
I'm
Doing
jealous.
a lot of gestures with my hands, and then it's like smack. I feel like a cat. I'm just like smack this, smack.
I wish I had the rights to play "Smack That" by Eminem, but I don't. You guys can't see this, but I can. I mean, if you're watching on YouTube, then you saw what just happened, and I'm sorry for that.
We both are.
Yeah.
We both are.
Go ahead.
But yeah, me and my girlfriend, we are honest, like online meeting, like romance, like positive story. We met because of Twitter. We started talking. She lives in Canada. I live here in Delaware. We met for the first time in Vegas. She was just like, hey, I want to see you and everything. Come out to Vegas. And I was, at that point, we had talked so much and everything. Just like, yeah, okay, we'll definitely do it. We'd already been dating and everything. So I said, yeah, that could have turned out, obviously, horribly bad. But it didn't. For the both of us, it could have turned out horrible. But it turned out great. Like, she was who she said she was. I was who I said I was.
Nobody got catfished.
Yeah, no one got catfished. It was the most anti-catfish of anything. So that was great. So after that, she says about the next year, she's like, "Oh, we're gonna go to Comic-Con." So I'm like, yeah, no. Because I had wanted to go to Comic-Con forever. Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, to be more specific. Nerd Mecca, basically the way it's been referred to. And it's true. But we were gonna try for our first time to go, and I was like, what are the chances of that happen? Literally. And she said the same thing about Vegas, and I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. We went to Vegas. You would have thought I would have learned my lesson and been just like, oh, okay, well, this might be a chance. So I was like, yeah, no, not going to happen. we wind up going to San Diego Comic-Con the next year. We wind up getting badges.
So hold on.
Do it.
So I'm gonna recreate this moment, and you tell me how accurate this was. Okay.
Okay.
I've never met her. Hi, how you doing? Shout out. But I feel like it went something like this. Hey, I think we should go to San Diego Comic Con. You think we should? The end.
Fair enough. But, it's just like, oh, that's a nice fantasy. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
We actually wind up going, and we went to another con before that. And the most I had gone to a con was actually Dover Comic-Con, I think, before that. Like the first year they had it, which is really small and everything. But, I hadn't really been to any cons, and we went to San Diego. And for one of the first time, so the same way that, you know how it is when you go somewhere and all of a sudden you see like multiple black people in a room and just that ease kind of comes over you, just like...
It's so weird. I don't know how to explain that, but it's true.
You're not even necessarily going to talk to them.
Yeah.
But because you don't feel like anyone's like particularly watching you or just going to be like really noticeable of you, you're just like, oh.
I can let my guard down a little bit, you know?
Like I can, okay, this is nice.
Yeah.
That's what San Diego Comic-Con is. It is a bunch of nerds together, and you can feel the energy because no one's there to give each other shit. Obviously, people are people, things happen. You can't stop that. But it was just like an overwhelming thing of just like, we're all here to be as big of a nerd as we can be for this time. And it's honestly been a rejuvenating experience. It's weird because it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be at all. I go to Comic-Con, usually cosplay or something. We try to go see as much stuff as you can, which is almost physically impossible. The lines are ridiculous.
Yeah.
I barely eat. I eat some in the morning. I have maybe something in the afternoon, and then like I actually really eat at night. But it's to the point where like... And sometimes I can go without eating, but I get kind of like, if I go without eating for too long, I get really hangry and my mood changes. At Comic-Con, I am the most positive, uplifting version of myself with barely any food in my system and just drinking water from like a fountain.
This probably is not healthy.
No, it's not. Like, I shouldn't feel like alive during that, but I'm literally going through just like... I feel
frolicking through the crowds.
Literally. It's just anyone who's seen me in a con. There are some friends who could be watching this who, I've met at cons and stuff like that, and they'll tell you just like, I'm not necessarily always super confident, but I am always very positive at cons. And it's like, I've barely eaten anything. Like, I start dragging, or like maybe I start to get just a little tired or worn down. And she's like, you got to eat. Remember, there's food. Like, to the point where, you got to bring some snacks and stuff with you to get through the day anyway. And she's like, here, just hands the bag over and just like, now, because you can't keep going like this.
I did Philly Comic-Con a couple times.
Which one?
Oh gosh,
the Wizard one.
Yeah. So,
okay, I've done that once, but it was so much fun.
Yeah, I don't really. I appreciated Comic-Con, but not as much as you did or still do. It was something that I appreciated and had a ton of fun, and I definitely felt some of what you felt, but that wasn't my mecca the same way it was yours. It's funny because that feeling that you felt when you walked into Comic-Con, this is going to sound weird now that I say it out loud, but that feeling that you felt walking into Comic-Con is the same feeling that I feel walking into a coffee shop where everyone just has their head down and they're just like buried in their computers. Any coffee shop, especially a coffee shop I've never been to before, but when I walk in and everyone is just like tip-tapping away at their own computers, they're not talking to each other, they're just existing in the same place, and they're just sipping their coffees, and I'm like, my people, Everyone is there just working. And so I have this thing where this is something that people make fun of me for, but they also make fun of me for it and praise me for it at the same time. Scratch that. They make fun of the process, but they praise the results.
As usual.
Right. So my thing is, I have a lot of hobbies that require me to be just completely alone, whether it's editing this video and putting this video together, like putting our videos together, or writing. I need to be alone. I have my big noise canceling headphones that I put on, not these, but I have some other ones that I put on, so no matter where I am, I can just shut out the world and just work. But I also
noise canceling headphones are like the best.
They're the best thing.
Even if they're not noise canceling, I don't really have any noise canceling. I've wanted some for forever, but it's just not really necessary for any of the stuff I'm doing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
they've changed my life. So I work on these things, and I need to be alone, but I don't like to be isolated. I genuinely like people, so I want to be around people. So coffee shops are perfect for me because there's people around to remind me that I still exist in a world as a social human being, but I'm also alone at the same time, so I can focus on my work.
Well, yeah, I can't say I've gotten that feeling from walking into a coffee place, because coffee is really not that important to my life. I'm sorry, sweetie. I know you love coffee.
You know what? I'm going to do this just to hurt you. There you go. Sorry. I want to hurt you the same way you hurt us.
Gotcha. But I get it. Like, it's the fact you want to work on your own stuff, but every now and then you can look up and you see other people doing the same, and you feel like even though you're your own separate entity in this, you're still part of some kind of collective.
Yes. When I went to Wilm U for a while, I spent some time in the computer lab editing some video. I would use their iMacs, which were super powerful. And because I went to school there, I was allowed to sit in there for as long as I liked. And I just lied to them and told them I was working on school projects. That was a lie. It was my own personal projects. But this room had a bunch of computers, and there were no windows. So you were just in a room. You were just locked in there. And which is fine for working on video because you want the room to be kind of dark so you can see what's on the screen. But I would spend like 6-7 hours in there, and I would start to feel like, I don't want to say depressed. Depressed isn't the word, but I would start to feel like, man, I'm feeling really sad and isolated from the world. I need to go out and get some sunshine and just see people walking campus. Like, I need to see something. I just can't sit here. And then I was like, well, if I go and sit at a Panera Bread with my computer and edit, it's not as fast as these computers, but also like I can't focus because there's so many other things going on. But if I sit here, I have silence, but I can't focus because I'm too isolated. So I definitely like it sounds weird, but like you're right. Like being able to look up and see other people who are working and actually existing in the world is like the best thing for me. It's the best of both worlds.
Well, see, the only reason I understand that is because I think I have that same thing in that same way, but when it comes to libraries. Like, I can go to a library and like the world is the world has calmed down. See, the world is at peace.
I can't do that because I respect that, but I can't do that because it feels like going to a library feels like putting on noise canceling headphones that you can never take off. Because it's just sometimes I want to take my headphones off and hear people talk. Like when I get up to use the restroom or whatever, I take it off, I can hear people talk. But the library is just like, I don't know. I know it's weird. Like I know that the way I feel is weird. I don't mean weird in a bad way. I just mean like I get it that it's not typical.
No, I get it, but I think in this case it may be more you're still a sociable person, whereas me, I like to withdraw into things. So I can disappear in a library or in a bookstore and I'm gone, where you like to be somewhere where you're not disappearing into the music, you're finding your spot in there and then keeping up at the same level.
Yeah, and there's that, and also like it's weird because like I said, I genuinely like people, and that's where I pull so much of my inspiration from people. Like that's where I get ideas for the show. That's where I get ideas to put into my writing, and just conversations with people, or overhearing the stuff that they say. I carry, like, I keep my Google Docs open on my phone so I can write things down. So I like interacting with people, but it's weird because I need a balance of interacting and isolating. When I interact too much, I feel like I'm drained and I don't have anything for me. But when I'm isolated too much, I feel like I'm empty and I don't have any, and it's like I'm like a cat. Like, give me the attention on my terms when I want it, but when I don't, just go away.
See, you say you're like a cat, but see, I feel like you're saying you have a very nice balance where I am more truthfully like a cat, which I'm just like, fuck off. All right, maybe I'll spend like a minute with you. All right, go fuck off forever again. Yeah. Like I like people. I really do. My girlfriend says this all the time. She's like, it's not that you don't like people. You just can't deal with people. And that's exactly what it is. Like, not you can ask. You know me. I'm very nice and like kind to people, and I generally show interest in them. But you also have seen me when I'm just like, nope, I'm done. I'm my limit.
For sure.
And it's just like, nope, the wall is up. You are not crossing this.
Yeah, and I think that's totally fine. And I think that to kind of bring it back around to what I was saying earlier is that I think it all comes down to what so many things come down to, and it's just respect. Is again, like, people praise the results, but they hate the process. Like, if your process of whatever you're doing with your life, if part of that process is you needing time to disconnect and isolate from people, and you express those needs, people should respect that. If what makes you feel alive and feel great and recharge is going to a Comic-Con, even if I think Comic-Cons are stupid, I don't think they're stupid. I wouldn't disrespect Comic-Con like you disrespect the coffee. Even if I think, even if I think Comic-Cons are dumb, who am I to judge you for something that brings you joy? Like, aren't we all looking for that?
We are. And then to get back to why I brought up the thing of Comic-Cons on the subject of, like, enjoying the things you enjoy and have people look at it. It's that irony, because I do have like a small tolerance for people, but for whatever reason I'm at a con and I am full of love and just sharing in the thing. And honestly, those cons I've been going for like a few years now, and those have been the things where I've honestly been able to recharge, and I take that energy back with me for the rest of the year and just kind of be able to just deal with regular people that I usually don't. I don't even go to the store without headphones, because I can't go shopping without headphones in, listening to a podcast and music, and just ignoring everyone in my path, because I can't deal with it.
You know what's really interesting about that? And this is why I wrote a short script, by the way, because I knew we were going to get so far off of Johnny Mnemonic that it wouldn't matter. But what's interesting about that is I like to wear headphones a lot when I go out also. Even if I'm going to the grocery store, which I don't really do anymore because I don't spend too much time in the grocery store because of COVID. Once I found out about COVID, I started researching like people who deliver your groceries to you. So I kind of use those services a lot. Yeah. And when I do actually go out, I only pick up a couple things. But I'd wear my headphones not because I wanted to avoid people, but because how can I say this without sounding conceited? I can't. So I'm just going to say I'm not conceited. But so I promise you I'm not conceited, guys. But you can't see this right now, but Joe is sipping tea from a NASA mug. Nerd. Let me tell you about when I almost failed my my astronomy course and one of my college courses in astronomy, and I almost failed it because I didn't know it included lots of math. But we'll talk about that later. Oh, yeah. So I wear headphones a lot when I go out because I am such a people person that I can't not have conversations with people. I don't know how to. So if someone even looks at me and like makes eye contact for a moment, I can't stop myself from saying hi and engaging in conversation. I can't do it. I don't know how to not do it. And because I like people, I think everyone is interesting in some way. Like everyone has something to say that has value to me. So once I start a conversation, I don't really know how to get out of it. And
same.
Yeah, the issue with that is, so I put the headphones on because I'm like, the best way to stop conversations is to not even get them started. Because sometimes I'm not in the mood to have conversations with people. I'm not in the mood to interact. I'm not in the mood to, I just want to go in. I want to, I just found out I'm out of oatmeal. I got to buy a tub of oatmeal and I just want to leave. I need brown sugar and oatmeal so I can get out of here. Or I need Lucky Charms or Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Let me leave. So I put the headphones on because I don't want to talk to people. I want them to see the headphones and know that I'm not engaging and they just leave me alone. So it's funny because I have to wear them because I love people so much that I need to keep myself away from them so that I don't talk.
Whereas I need to wear them to keep people out,
right?
Because while I may enjoy a conversation, or whatever, I just really just want to not be bothered and not have to exist to ignore the world around me.
But like, it's so hard for me to explain to people. Like, I just had someone ask me a question. I'm not going to use names because I don't know. I'm not going to use names, but this friend of mine.
You should protect the innocent.
Yeah. All right, I'll change the name of this person. I was having a discussion with a person. We'll call her
Svetlana.
We'll call her Svetlana from.
I like the accent.
We'll call her Svetlana from Mother Russia. And Svetlana asked me a question. And she was like, I was talking to someone who was a known, this person had used a homophobic slur in the past in a conversation with someone else. They used it in anger. And this, not Svetlana. Svetlana didn't do this, but we both overheard someone else doing this. And a little while later, I saw this person again, and I had a cordial conversation with this person. It was very surface level, but I was civil, and, we exchanged jokes back and forth. And afterwards, Svetlana was like, how can you be friends with someone who's homophobic? Like, how? And she said it in a way that was kind of like, I can't believe you just did that.
Yeah.
Not in like a hateful way. Like, she wasn't attacking me. She was just like, how could you talk to someone who's homophobic? I don't understand how you can do it. And I didn't know how to explain this. It was a good question. Like, how can I be so kind to someone who's so homophobic?
It is. I have an answer to that as well, but I want to hear your answer first.
So I had to let her know that, like, it's all surface level kindness. Like, I am not gonna invite this person over for Thanksgiving dinner. I'm just being cordial because I personally believe that 99% of human beings deserve a certain level of respect, first of all. Like, that's just what I believe. And I am trying to protect my own energy, so to speak. So I'm not going to carry this hatred for this person for this thing that they said. It doesn't mean that I think it's okay. It's just I'm not carrying that. So when I see this person, I'm not looking to fight them on sight. Like, and I keep all of this very surface level because, to be completely honest, this homophobic person, I don't care if they're having a nice day or not. I don't care how their day is going. I don't care if they're happy in their life. They're not a thought that I don't occupy. They don't occupy my thoughts. So I can be civil in the moment if we're just having a surface level conversation for 15 seconds. If we're going to talk, we're going to talk basketball for 15 seconds and then be on your way. What would I accomplish by being confrontational for this person who this disrespect wasn't directed at me, if that makes any sense?
Vengeance?
And it
Vengeance?
it didn't rise to the level of me saying that, like, because I'm not going to change this person's mind. I'm not going to talk to this person and have them realize that what they said was wrong. The only thing I can do is to make it clear that don't use that language around me. I don't care if you use it in your personal life. Just don't use it around me. And like, I don't want to hear it anymore. And that to me is the end of it. I don't want to hear it anymore. You can go live your homophobic and probably racist life over in whatever rural Sussex County town you live in, and I'll be over here just chilling, living my life. So yeah, that was my long, convoluted answer. I should have played the music for myself with that. But anyway,
Yes.
what's your answer to that?
Well, to my answer to that is basically, well, if you had to stop talking to people, because of how they felt about something or another, you just probably stop talking in general, because I've had to talk to many people who viewed me as lesser than because of the color of my skin.
Oh, for sure.
And sometimes I wanted to just smack them upside the head.
I am glad you mentioned that. By the way, Johnny Mnemonic, great movie. I'm glad you mentioned that because I had an incident.
But I can't slap everyone. If I slapped everyone that I wanted to slap, some people I just want to slap just for the reason that I just look at you and it's just like, today's not your day.
I'm laughing because, you know what? Can I go off on a tangent, please?
Go off on a tangent.
Okay.
Go off. Go ahead, son. Tell them why you're mad.
I'm not mad. I'm happy, and this is why I said I don't carry hatred with me, but that doesn't mean I can't be petty. So let me tell you.
Yes, Lord.
Yes, like I can be petty and still be happy. Like you don't have to be angry to get your point across, and that's something that I learned. Actually, oddly enough, I've always been a fan of combat sports like boxing, wrestling, things like that. And what happens with those sports is if you fight angry, you're going to lose. So people like Muhammad Ali talked a lot of trash to get into his opponent's head, make them angry, and make them fight angry and not smart. So if you approach every situation with, think it through, be smart, you'll be fine. Here's my Muhammad Ali moment. I just compare myself to Muhammad Ali. Wow. I'm going to squeeze myself for that.
Stronger than that.
So I'm going to try really hard to be vague about this because I'm going to mention someone, and I may have mentioned this on a podcast. I did mention this on another podcast. Okay. So this is an update. So a little bit of a review. There was someone who was very racist in my presence, and I did something, and I knew this person was racist, but again, it was one of those things where we only had surface level conversations. And all I would do is anytime we had conversations involving politics, I would make it clear how I felt. And, I'm not concerned about this person's feelings, but I'm going to speak my truth and we can go from there. Yeah. So that's kind of how it went. This person would say things to me like, I can't even think of any specific examples, but trust me, this person was racist. But it was racism dressed up in like, I'm a sweet older person, and I'm just telling it like it is.
May I try something?
Yes.
I try something?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, son, you're so nice and polite. Your mom must have took very good care of you to raise you right, unlike some of these other kids out here. And you're so well-spoken. I can completely understand you, You are a shining example for people like you.
Well, yes, I'm sure is, man. So I learned how to talk and I can read a lot. I read a whole heap of books. I mean, that is if Master says I can read, I don't know. If I'm not, don't tell nobody. Sorry, I'm not like all those other guys. It's all uppity. It was like that.
Having that dignity and self-respect.
Right. So, so anyway, this person was super racist. And, I spoke my truth. I never spoke in anger, but also if this person said something that was racist, I would counter with telling her, I can mention her gender, how wrong she was. And it went back and forth like that. And she would get so mad. She would get so upset. So anyway, finally, the straw that really broke the camel's back, so to speak, and I'm not calling her camel and I didn't break her back, was one day she saw me. I'm going to let you guess. What made her stop speaking to me altogether. we've had conversations on Black Lives Matter. We've had conversations on the protests, and spoiler alert, we disagreed. But do you know what made her stop speaking to me?
No. What?
Ready for this? Mm-hmm. I hugged a white girl, and she saw it. In the words of one of my favorite social media personalities, Country Wayne, let that sizzle in your spirit.
Well, you said she was an older lady, and based on her views and everything, yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, it checks out. It checks out.
I'm sure she went home with her husband that night, and I was a whole lot of hard R's.
Yeah. You know, she technically did totally just like scratch that off of her. I probably shouldn't use the word I was getting ready to use.
Go ahead.
But a hard R bingo card list, and she definitely got bingo after seeing that.
So yeah, you're probably right. So this story doesn't end there though. This story continues.
God.
So, hold on. I need a prop for this part of the story. This story does not end here. So the same person, I saw her at my gym.
Jesus!
I saw her at my gym, and do you know what she said to me? Nothing. She said nothing at all. She pretended I didn't exist. So she pretended not to know me, and I was like, "Oh no, you know me." So
basically, she pretended like you were literally the embodiment of Black Lives.
Yeah. In that moment, I guess all lives did not matter in that moment because mine didn't matter. So, again, like I said, just because I'm not angry doesn't mean I can't be petty. I was petty. I was very petty that day. So my workout, I have to explain my workout. So my workouts, I like to keep my heart rate at a certain level during the entire workout. I can't really run like I used to because I have bad knees. So I jump rope. I skip a lot of rope during my workouts, and I skip to start to warm up, and in between lifts, I jump rope to keep my heart rate up in a certain level. So I was at the gym, and I needed to do my lifts. I did my lifts next on the bench next to her, and do you know where I jumped rope?
Right in front of her. Right
next to her, and I was wearing some particularly loose-fitting shorts that day. So as I'm jumping, I'm gonna recreate this for all the YouTube.
Exactly happened?
I'm gonna recreate this for all the YouTube listeners or YouTube watchers. All of my listeners who are streaming this, you might want to get on YouTube to see this, but if not, you can listen. So what had happened was I was jumping rope.
Oh Lord!
I was jumping. This is the prop, by the way. So I was jumping rope where she could definitely see me, and she was sitting down doing like overhead presses or curls or something, I don't know, but right in her dumb old racist face, I was skipping rope, and I made sure to get extra high on each jump, and it was kind of like this, just wiener, just like the wacky inflatable tube man. Just, and I go for my rope jumping in between each lift. I set a timer for about a minute 15 seconds at a time. So I would do my workout next to her. And by the way, there's a giant mirror in front of us. And I know that she could see me. And I knew it. And then she left the area, and that was it. That's the end of the story. I've seen her since. She still hasn't talked to me.
Weird flex, but okay.
I just, you know, my whole goal for doing that was to make her as uncomfortable as she tried to make me feel several times in her life.
But Mandingo jump roping?
You know, that sounds like a CAPTCHA you get when you have to like sign into your when you have to sign into your Google and they're like, is this really you?
Come on. Mandingo jump roping, that wouldn't be Google, that'd be Black Planet.
Oh my God. You went way into the archives.
Not even archives, it's back. It's back, baby.
Is it back?
Well, it's around. I have not jumped on it.
Oh my God. I can't believe this episode had a Black Planet reference.
Well, I didn't think I was going to hear about you jump roping your dingling in front of an old white lady. But here we are. Here we are.
You know, I didn't do it for me. I did it for us, okay? I did it for the community. And I would like a little gratitude, a little appreciation for what I did. I put myself out there. I put myself out there, and I did it for us, okay?
Oh, you put yourself out there.
I put myself out there. And I was like, listen, lady. But yeah, that's that story. How do we get there?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't even know. You know, I feel like it's my job to bring us back from these detours, and I'm failing right now. Oh,
You know,
I know where we are.
Okay.
Wait, what did you feel like?
I was going to say, I felt like we would get to some kind of moment like this. Not necessarily this, but we'd get to a moment like this. But I swore it was going to be me who did it.
Ah, plot twist.
I thought I was the one who Tyrice brought on to make a fool of himself, and you got to be super serious. And yet, here we are.
Didn't see this coming.
She sure did.
All right, we have gone completely off the rails, but that's okay. I need to.
You don't know what kind of situation you sent that woman packing in. You don't know what was in her mind that night.
You said packing.
And I think it's better for everyone if no one thinks about what was on her mind that night.
Oddly,
probably with her husband. Ooh, tell me that you like fried chicken and watermelon.
you know what's funny? Okay, I was gonna make a joke, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to.
You already made it for me. I already see it.
I was gonna make a joke about her husband jumping rope because he's like, oh, this is what you like? I can do it for you too. Hi, I have an extensive microphone collection, guys. And this is a mic that I have. And this is another mic that I have. So I just felt like showing you guys my microphones. That's all. No subtext, no nothing. But also, don't be racist.
Even weirder flex, but okay.
It's not my fault if you have your own insecurities based on stereotypes. So just keep that in mind. And unrelated, here are 2 microphones. Okay.
I am not going to say any more on the subject because I might say something that doesn't need to be said, and I think everyone would just appreciate it if we switch the subject now.
Or if you want to hear what Joe has to say, do you know where you can find it? On our uncensored, unfiltered episodes on
www.patreon.com/mmoviepod.
Okay, now I'm going to bring us back. So what we were talking about before we got off on that little off ramp there into whatever town that was. By the way, did you know that there's an actual town called Pound? Did you know that? I'm not making this up. I take it you didn't know?
No.
It's in Wisconsin. It's Pound, Wisconsin. Pound is a town in Marinette County, Wisconsin, United States. The population of Pound Town was 1,367 at the 2000 census. The village of Pound is located within but politically independent of the town. So there's a Pound village. Anyway, okay, back on topic.
Okay,
Sorry.
Now, just because you said that, apparently there's an intercourse PA.
So can you leave Intercourse, PA, and take a train to Pound Town, or do you have to drive? Could you fly to Pound Town?
I feel like if you're in either one, you're already there.
What if you lived in Pound Town? Your online dating profile would be the best. Okay, let's bring us back. We'll bring us back. And I'm going to relate this to Johnny Mnemonic, because in Johnny Mnemonic, there's actually a lot of scenes that I feel like could have been cut from the movie. And there was a lot of content.
There's a lot of scenes that could have been cut from this podcast.
There was a lot of scenes that could have been cut from this podcast. So, in honor of Johnny Mnemonic, I decided to include some extra scenes in this podcast. But to bring it back to what we were talking about earlier, this is what we talked about like an hour and 15 minutes ago, is that the things that people judge us for are the same things that they praise us for later on. And when I took my notes for this episode, it kind of started to feel like me writing a letter to myself and my childhood. And not only that, but also speaking to people who are dealing with the same things now, because I'm at the age now where I legit don't care. It doesn't bother me. And it took some time to get there, but other people's negative opinions of me do not bother me, because I see it for what it is. I see it that their negative opinion is a reflection. Whatever I'm doing that they judge negatively is a reflection of the insecurities within themselves. So when someone judges me for, I don't drink. I don't drink or smoke or anything. And it's not something that I do for any religious reasons or any kind of reasons for I think I'm better than anyone. It's just a choice that I make. And for people who do drink or smoke or do anything, I don't judge them for that. It is, to me, it's like, I don't like Diet Coke. Some people do. It's whatever. Like,
Yeah. You don't judge those people. We just happen to listen to a lot of Earth Crisis. We know.
Oh man!
Straight edge jokes for the win.
It's funny though. I'm so confusing because one of my favorite bands of all time is Steel Pulse, and they're a very, very reggae band, and I listen to Steel Pulse, and I'm always like, let's go outside and be with the earth. Let's be happy and love each other. And then someone's like, you want to smoke some weed? And I'm like, bro, I don't do that. What made you think I would do that?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I don't judge people who do whatever they want to do to make them happy, because I'm secure in myself. So when people judge me, I actually feel bad. Like when people judge me for, come on, man, you don't drink. How do you have fun? Or come on, man, just have one drink, or just smoke. I just want to see you smoke just once. It doesn't. I feel bad for people like that, because why?
Well, because it also seems like they need to see you do something to validate it to them, for themselves.
Yes.
Because if they really didn't have an issue with it, then why would they need to kind of like pressure you to do it?
Exactly. So, and so it doesn't bother me now, but it did used to, and it took me a while to get here. So
to learn how to not give a fuck.
Yeah, it's a journey. Oh, by the way, you just cursed. So it is a journey, and that's kind of what I want to discuss with Johnny Mnemonic. And I've already gone an hour and some change, lots of change.
Well, to kind of wrap it up.
Oh, we don't have to wrap it up, by the way. If you wanted to share your
wrap it up, but to wrap up like that thought, when you really look at the movie, because like you said, so to give some more about the movie, Johnny has this info and has this data in his head. that he needs to get out, because if he doesn't get it out within, like, what was it, 24 hours or so?
Yeah, it becomes 24 hours, yeah.
Yeah, 24 hours, he's gonna die, basically. And he can't quite get it to where he wants to get it, but he's being chased by the previous mentioned Yakuza, who are working for this company. We're not even talking about what the data is, but it's interesting because you're talking about, wanting to fit in and things. It actually kind of works with the idea of having something in your head that people appreciate, but they don't appreciate you, because you have these people hunting him down to get what's in his head. They literally don't give a shit about him. In fact, the way they are planning to get the information from him, it's not simply just to kill him and like take it. They have to behead him. They literally want what's in his head and will take his head just so they can get the information in a pristine matter. And that's what it seems like for a lot of people. Like, people will not always appreciate the person, but if people start to sometimes on the journey, people will start to show appreciation, or what it seems like appreciation, for what you have or what you can do, but it's more of like, hey, they can do this cool thing, let me figure out how I can make that work for me, because I don't give a shit about the person themselves, but they can do this cool thing and maybe I can use that. Yes,
and that's a big, I think it goes in stages. Like, when you're going from that point of, I am insecure, or everyone's judging me or making fun of me, and then you get to the point of, I don't care what anyone thinks when people say anything negative. I think there's a stage in the middle there, like you said, where you start to get that appreciation, but it's not valid. It's not pure. It's not an appreciation for who you are. It's an appreciation for what you're doing. And because if you're dedicated to something, then you're going to start seeing results, and people start appreciating those results, but they still don't respect you as a whole human being. And that's another step in the process of realizing, basically, advocating for yourself and becoming secure in who you are.
Yeah, and another way of considering this is also, so basically the problem with us doing this movie was that there is a theme, but there's so much stuff in the movie that you can literally grab. So many different things. I was thinking about the fact of, there's the one scene where he's talking about how mad he wants to get the stuff out of his head. He just wants to go back to normal. He wants to go back to his life, which he remembered, which was, living in hotels and getting his shirts dry clean and having the food from these hotels. And
he stands on the hill and goes, I want a hooker!
Yeah. And all I can think about is just like, you could almost say this is also a movie about a person who has to come to terms with the fact of his status is diminished, and he just can't fucking handle it.
Yes.
And he needs to be treated like the royalty he is, but that shit's not coming back. It's never gonna happen. He can't go back to his old life of just being a courier and, just be fine with it. Or at least if he does, it's never gonna be the same way for him. He can't unbecome what he's now become.
That's an excellent point. So you made two good points there that I want to touch on. One really quickly, and then the other one a little more in depth.
But well, actually, the thing I was gonna go with, that was one thing I was thinking of. But if we're talking strictly about someone having something that they want from you but not caring about you, you can tie that into the workforce, because we've seen, especially with the pandemic, there's just a lot of learning that when it comes to the workforce, if you hadn't learned that lesson already, you can be replaced like that. They would take whatever they can from you, and yeah, you get paid, and I understand that, but like fair wages, like things that you have to put up with at work that you absolutely shouldn't, people not feeling comfortable about being at work because it poses a hazard to them, where you have so many businesses and things just like, I don't care. I want the labor from you. And that's all that matters. Oh, you're not here anymore. Whether you died or you just like you're like, I can't work under these conditions. And they just replace you because they're going to get what they want. And it's not because you're special to them. It's because you're a body that has inside you what they want, what they can get out of you. You're
not a person. You're just an asset. Like
yeah, exactly. And that's all Johnny was. He was an asset.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, the book, the book The Jungle by Upton Sinclair is I don't like it, but it makes that point really well in like the first 15 pages, and you can just stop reading there because the entire book is just the same point being made over and over and over and over again. But it's a good point, and it's that thing of it's true. Like you're just an asset, and I was just having this conversation with someone today before I started this podcast, and I was having it again a couple days ago with someone else about people forgetting that they're just an asset. Like it is what it is. Like we're in a situation where nothing is going to change tomorrow. Things can change eventually, but nothing is going to change tomorrow. And without getting too much into politics, because I promised Sarah we would have an episode about politics, but I'll touch on it really briefly, is that we live in a capitalist society, right? So its society is set up in such a way that the problems that we have now or the issues that we complain about aren't an accident. They're by design. And it's just part of how the system works. And in my opinion, this isn't necessarily an anti-capitalist like rant or anything, but there's issues with capitalism, but the solution hasn't, in my opinion, been found yet. Like we can put band-aids on the problems, and we should, but it's going to require a lot of reworking to get a fair and equitable system that works for people like us. So oh wow, I went off on a tangent there. But what I'm saying is,
it makes sense. You have to plug the dam, but plugging the dam alone is not going to fix the problem.
Yes,
you plug the dam to stop a crisis. You fix the dam so it works the way it should work.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So the conversation I was having earlier today was about how people just forget that they're just an asset. So the system, it is what it is. You're just an asset. You go to work. They're exploiting you for your labor and not paying you what you're worth. We know that. But people forget that, and it's just like people work so many hours and put in so much overtime and just work. And the thing is, if you need that money, if you need those benefits, that's fine. You do what you have to do to make it. But I know people who, at some point, when is enough enough? Like I know people who make enough money and they can cut their hours. They can leave one of their jobs and still live comfortably, not be wealthy. They might not be able to buy, you know, a 2021 car. Maybe they'll have to buy 2008 or something, but they can still live comfortably, but they keep working to buy the newest Apple Watch and keep working. And I'm not judging how people spend their money, but when I talk to friends who tell me how unhappy they are and how overworked they are and how tired they are, and my question is, work less hours, quit one of your 3 jobs, and their answer is, well, I can't. I'm like, well, why not? Could you make enough money to live by working 2 jobs? And just the idea of working less is just blows their mind. When your supervisor asks you to take an overtime shift, say no. Say no, because again, you know, I do my job with integrity, but I also know where I stand, and I'm not part of a family. I'm not part of, we're not family. We're coworkers. This is a job. I'm here. I'm an asset. I'm being paid hourly wages, and that's that. I don't have any personal stake in this company. So that's my rant on that.
and managers, please understand that a pizza party will not save the fucking day. You don't build a family with a fucking pizza party. If you want to get pizza for people, fine. But a pizza party is not going to fix things.
Oh my gosh, I'm laughing because we're planning a pizza party. Those opinions were the opinions of Joe and only Joe. Tyrice still needs his health insurance, so he doesn't want to get fired.
Tyrice still wants pizza.
Wow, my ancestors would be so upset with me right now. I sure does likes me some pizza. Pizza party sounds all right by me. Can I keep my health insurance? I had a thought of something that was really. You had said something. You had made 2 points that I wanted to. Oh yes, actually, while we were talking, I wrote it down. So you made 2 points that I wanted to. I've been writing down ideas for future episodes. By the way, like when you say something that I'm like, "Ooh, that would be a great episode." I've
when
been writing
I say something that's not stupid or inane. Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. I only have 2 notes so far. So twice you said something that wasn't stupid.
That seems about right.
But 2 things you said about this movie. One, about there being so much in here that we could discuss, and so many connections we could make. I just wanted to give like a peek behind the curtain, so to speak, behind the scenes of creating these episodes and writing them up. It's always difficult. It's fun for me, but it's a challenge. It's like a puzzle that I have to solve because there's 2 types of movies. There's movies that have really everything has a meaning. Everything in the movie is meaningful and it's deep and you can watch it a million times and notice something else, and every element in the movie builds towards the conclusion. And those movies are hard to misinterpret because everything is already laid out. It's hard to misinterpret something where every step has been meticulously measured, and this leads to that and leads to that. And those movies tend to be the movies that are like critically acclaimed classics. It's really hard to misinterpret those. On the flip side, because it's really hard to deviate from the path that they've already set there. On the flip side, there's movies like Johnny Mnemonic where they give you a beginning and an end. And everything in between is just gunfights, explosions, fight scene. And
laser wire.
Laser wire. And that's actually why I had a lot of trouble with, back in October, I had wanted to do horror movies every week for Halloween. And I had a lot of trouble with it because I don't know if anyone has noticed, but a lot of horror movies don't really have any deeper meaning. It's just the beginning. Right. It's a beginning, lots of things die, and then it ends. That's it. So, not knocking horror movies. They're fun, but they're really hard to misinterpret.
Okay, here's one. See, I don't even know if I want to do that. And then technically, I've done a podcast about that.
What's that?
I was going to say Us. But there's really so many different layers, and I feel like so many people
I'm writing it down.
talked about the different layers.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? It might be fun to do it, and it just like there are layers that are obvious, and I feel people can get. It might be fun to just swing for their fences. Just
yeah.
Like, what outlandish shit can we just? Well, yeah,
and that's the whole point, is to be as outlandish as possible and to do the research. And when I decide I
have an outlandish point right now.
Go ahead, let's hear it.
If you've seen the movie Us, you've seen you know the story. I'm not gonna get into it too really that much, but I will say on the jumpsuits, like, you have a workforce. Like, did they make their own jumpsuits? Because if they made their own jumpsuits, that's an American workforce that, while it would be technically slave labor, it also would be stuff that was made in America. And why are we getting stuff from other countries when we can literally use the sweatshops that we have homegrown here?
You know, I feel like one day our podcast is going to find its way onto a QAnon forum, and people are going to think we're serious.
Well, if you remember, Tyrice, I did write that English paper about conspiracy theories in high school. Yeah. Remind me how that went. I mean, I think I got an okay grade for it, but you know,
it wasn't.
Or you know which teacher it was going to. It was in 11th grade.
Yeah.
You know the guy I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
You know, he thought highly of me. I'm sure he was just like,
I wish I could do an interview with all the old teachers that we had to ask them what they thought of us.
Oh God, I would.
I know what some of them thought of me. Some of it wasn't very flattering.
I could say some of it wasn't flattering.
Some of it.
I think my 12th grade English teacher for sure. Like, well, my 11th grade English teacher, yeah, I'm sure he would have thought I was okay. I think my 12th grade English teacher, I think she was just like, you're smart, you're capable, you just fuck around.
Yeah.
And that's your problem.
Well, I mean, in my defense, I think a lot of my teachers probably were at the Stop the Steal rally in DC. So
feel like I have an idea of a few that you're talking about.
Yeah. But okay, one more thing that I wanted to touch on before we get too far off topic is something that you said about him wanting to have his old memories back. And I want to do an episode about this so we can expand upon it, but you just made me think of another aspect of this movie of that, not just him going back and having his old life. Mm-hmm. Like, it doesn't have to just be him having his old status. I think that people in general, as we grow, people tend to look back a few years and go, wow, that was that period of my life. I want that back.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, I've caught myself doing that a few times. And as I get older, I kind of realize that every time I do that, I'm looking maybe 5 years or so in the past. But 10 years later, I'm looking 5 years back. And it's not that I'm stuck on like 2004. It's that I'm always 5 years before wherever I am, right? Yeah. So I'm always looking back, and I'm looking, I could have been, let's say, for example, and this is not true, guys, you don't have to worry about me. Let's say I'm crazy depressed right now in 2021. Well, in 2026, I may look back and go, man, 2021 was like the best times, man. I miss that. But it's this idea of people are hardly ever, like, people are often unhappy with where they are, and people often look back on their past with like rose-colored glasses and go, if only I could go back to there. And I think there's a danger in that, and ignoring the present and ignoring the moment that you're in and truly appreciating it and taking the time to just settle down and look around and be appreciative for where you are. Like, yeah, we all have got problems and we've all got things that probably we wish were different, but it's this idea of regret. Like, someone asked me at work the other day if I have anything in my past that I regret. And I thought about it, and I was like, that's a really interesting question, because I like who I am and where I am now, and everything that I've done in the past got me here. So even the stuff where I'm like, well, that was dumb, it still got me to where I am. And I want to do a whole podcast episode on one particular dumb thing that I did that lasted about 8 years. But we will talk about that after I stop recording.
Okay.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
I feel like I have an idea.
You know, it was a job. Okay. It was a job.
Okay, yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. But I want to do a whole episode on that and put it on Patreon, because I think that people will want to pay to hear that. But even that, I look back in the past and I'm like, no regrets. No regrets. It doesn't mean I didn't do anything that was probably not in my best interest, but I'm not looking back anymore going, wow, that was...
You got some sweet guitars out of that thing.
Boy, did I ever. And that's the thing, is there's positives and there's negatives, but there's also, like, it got me to where I am now. Like, all right, so I got some sweet guitars out of that, right? I got some nice music gear that I'm still using right now, right? Wow. So a lot of the gear that I got, I saved, and I'm still using it now. I got knowledge on how to record audio, which I'm using for this whole setup right now. Like, all that knowledge helped me with that. I got just knowledge on how to use certain programs. Like, I I got all this stuff, and I also got knowledge on what I don't want to do with my life, which is the most valuable thing of all. So I would not be doing this right now if I hadn't dealt with all of that. And it's just, I am incredibly thankful that now if I had to choose, would I choose that? Absolutely not. Am I making like a garden out of a pile of poop? Absolutely.
But Tyrice, if not for that job, poster boys for abortion would never have been a thing.
Are we going to just leave that unexplained?
Yep.
You know, I actually, and
No.
I feel like we can probably,
No.
I feel like we can probably wrap this up soon. But I actually have.
No.
Give me a second here.
Dear God, no! Don't you dare.
Do you see this?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see this?
Oh God, yeah.
Sorry for the people listening right now. Do you see this?
Yes.
Okay. And then this and where's I got one? Oh. And this. People listening can't see, but you can hear.
Okay, people, if you're not watching, what are you doing? We're on YouTube.
Yeah,
now.
come on. Support
on.
Black-owned business.
Click and subscribe.
Oh yeah, smash that like button. Click like and subscribe and smash that like button. Leave a comment, let me know what you think. But what I'm doing right now is I'm holding up external hard drives. And these external hard drives, I save everything. When I switch to new computers, I upgrade computers maybe once every. I mean, when I used Windows computers, I would buy really cheap ones because that was what I could afford at the moment. But I would buy cheaper Windows computers, laptops, and by the time I upgraded, like 5 years later, I would maybe like 3 years. The price of memory would come down. So I'd be able to buy an external hard drive and put the entire hard drive on an external hard drive. And every time I get a new computer, I repeat the process. So this one of these has our old music on it. And guess what? I think we should do an episode where we talk about it since we own the rights to it.
Oh God. Should we unleash something like that on the 2021?
I will do you this solid, okay? I will do you this favor. I will make you this promise. If we do this, I will do my part to talk about the time I recorded a feature-length independent film. And it went way wrong.
I think I remember that. Didn't I offer to help out with that?
I think so. That was not a very lucid time for me. I was dealing with a lot of.
Yeah.
I was transitioning out of that thing that we were talking about earlier that I didn't want to do anymore. I was transitioning out of that and back into the real world. Mm-hmm. So there was not like. I don't remember a lot. I don't remember a lot of that. Like, you know. That period. So you might have, but I don't remember. No, I don't think you did offer. I don't think you offered this one.
No, I think that was a different one. I think that was during the Poster Boys for Abortion days.
Yeah, no, this was well after that. This did not go, and I don't want to get anyone's hopes up. I'm not going to be able to show it to you because I don't own the rights to any of the music that I used in it. So I just downloaded songs off YouTube and put it on the video. But I will be able to. I still have the script somewhere in a binder, and I'll be able to read through the script and describe the movie to you. And
well, you know what? Let's put it to the fans. Hey, fans! This feels really weird to say fans. Like,
I know, right? Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Just anyway. If you want to hear basically dark parts of her
You're
past
trying to
come
explain
light.
it. It's hilarious.
Dark parts of her past come to light in this movie that he did, and then this musical abomination.
Oh, do you know what? I'm sorry. I'll let you finish. I'm gonna let you finish.
I don't know if there's really much, but if you guys are interested, just shout us out. Let us know. Please leave comments on the video. Message us. On our socials. Tell us that you want to hear these. I'm having flashbacks to recording these. My ex that I was dating at the time, I remember her looking at us when we came out of your room after doing some recording because she didn't even want to be in the room with us because I couldn't tell if she was laughing or regretting being with me at the time.
Oh, this is really going to test my, when I said that I don't care what people think about me anymore, this is really going to test that.
It is, because I'm just like, any cred... not even cred, any shred of dignity.
Dignity, what's that?
even after this episode.
Yeah, you know what I also have, by the way, is I also have the old multi-track recorder that I would use to record. I still have that. So if people love what they hear, we could remaster. We could release. We can make a comeback, man. Let's do it. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. I know that Travis, I know you're listening, and I know he would let us use his studio to record.
Travis, say no. Don't desecrate your holy
Travis,
space
say
like
yes.
That.
Yes, say yes.
Say no. Oh, good God. Oh, good God.
By the way, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and let's just end this Johnny Mnemonic episode right now. And then I'm going to tell you some more things. And we're going to go and we're just going to spend a few minutes and we'll just make it a bonus episode here. I
wish that I could overload my storage capacity and forget things.
wait. Okay, hold on. I got to do the like closing music.
Okay.
And go.
The thought of what's coming terrifies me to my core more than most things I can speak of.
And I would like to say, believe in yourself. Let the haters be your motivators. Like I always say, they hate me because they ain't me. And even if it's not true, I tell myself that. It makes me feel good. It gets me through the day. Hey. Johnny Mnemonic was a weird movie. There's a lot to talk about. We'll talk more about it. But he has to deliver the hard drive to the people who want it. And it turns out the thing in his head is something that could save all of humanity. So if you have something in your head that you're ashamed of, share it with the world. You could save the world.
That's not going to save anybody.
So, Joe and I are going to discuss whether or not we're going to save the world by sharing what was in our heads back when we were in a band together. And speaking of a band, here's one that we're going to play for you guys right now. Hit it, DJ!
Misinterpreting all the movies that you've seen. You might not have seen all the movies we're misinterpreting. That's alright. That's okay. You're really smart and it's fair play. Misinterpreting all the movies that you've seen. You might not have seen all the movies we're misinterpreting. It's alright.
Are you not entertained?
You're really smart.
Are you not entertained?
Misinterpreting.
I did that with my mouth.